Hello, I'm Luna. I'm like 24 years old. I'm currently in my home in Maastricht, the Netherlands, and I've been under lockdown for about a week, I think. And well, it's not fully lockdown because in the Netherlands people are still allowed to go out of their house, but all bars and restaurants and universities, schools are shut. So that's what I'm counting as lockdown. When I found out about the lockdown, it was a bit of a surreal thing, I guess, because we first saw the news about everything going on in China, and at that point, it just seemed like something that is very far off and it's just be there and not going to affect us. And suddenly it was in Italy, and then suddenly it was in Germany, and then suddenly it was here, and things just progressed very quickly, and it felt almost like being in a sci-fi film. Well, it's not fully locked down because in the Netherlands people are still allowed to go out of their house, but all bars and restaurants and universities, schools are shut. So that's what I'm counting as lockdown. Things are going so fast and things are progressing so quickly, you can't really make any accurate prediction. I'd say that it's going to be like this still for a couple of weeks, if not months, 1 or 2 months maybe. Especially because in the Netherlands people are not being too careful about it. So people are still allowed outside, and even though everything at like bars and stores are closed, clothing shops are not, and supermarkets are not, and people just crowd those places. So the virus is just going to spread, and probably it's going to take a while till we manage to get rid of it entirely. I think for what I've said so far, it already gives a clue that I don't feel necessarily all that supported by the government, especially. It just feels like, especially in the Netherlands, they care more about the economy than they care about people's health. They just want to keep on with businesses as usual so they don't lose much money. That's the impression that it gives to me. And tests are not easily available. You don't really know what to do. So not really supported by the government per se. Community-wise, I think generally people are also a bit lax on how the virus goes, and they're not worrying as much, especially because it only affects older people badly. It can only be harmful to older people. So the young people are just like, oh, it's just any flu, and I don't give a fuck, and that's a bit insensitive sometimes. So far, I haven't quite felt any difference between lockdown and not lockdown in terms of my daily life. I'm a bit of an introvert, and I just found out that being in a lockdown is kind of what I do most of my life, because I just stay inside and watch some films on Netflix. In my family, as far as I know, are also okay. I mean, most of my family are from Brazil. The region where my mom is from just recently got their first case, and my mom and my brother, they just did their own lockdown quarantine thing, and they're gonna stay in their house for 15 days. But in Brazil, there's not much going on regarding that. Bolsonaro doesn't really give a shit. Play guitar, play the ukulele, try to learn piano, write some stuff, and just pretty much chill, playing games with people and talking to everyone in the house. I'm quite lucky because I live with 7 people, so there's always something to do. Don't hoard. We live in 2020. I don't think we're going to run out of food so quickly, but if you start hoarding so much, then other people will not have what they need. And I mean, relax and be real about the virus. I mean, yes, it's dangerous to those at risk, but if you take precautions and you know where to go and you're being hygienic, washing your hands, it should be okay. So yeah, I'd say don't panic and do the best you can out of the quarantine period. So yeah, just find out those cool hobbies that you hadn't before or you always wanted to have and you didn't have time to.